there's an organic molecule, which if I remember correctly from way back when I took organic lab, smells bad. It's called alene, and it gave me a headache immediately. Here is the formula for it, CH2CCH2. Predict its shape and the carbon hybrid orbitals. All right. Now, we know that this thing has a topology that looks something like that. And how many electrons does it have? Well, let's see. 3 carbons, 3 times 4, plus 4 hydrogens, 4 times 1. So we got 12, and 4 ought to be 16 electrons. Huh? And if we put in the bonds, the sigma bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 16 minus 2 times 6 is 12. That's 4 electrons. Now, at this point, what do we do with the 4 electrons? Well, we have carbons here and here that don't have an octet yet. We have a carbon in the middle that doesn't have an octet. So you can see what's going to happen. If we put a pair of electrons on this carbon and a pair of electrons on that carbon, they have an octet. But this carbon doesn't, so we have to do this. And make a carbon-carbon double bond, and then another carbon-carbon double bond. Now, at this point, I'm going to show you something that you're going to have to work out on your own why it is. Okay? And that is a wedge bond. The hydrogens on one end of the molecule are in the plane of the screen, because what's the hybridization of that carbon? sp2. So this atom, this one, and that one have to be in the same plane. Okay? Now on the other end, in order to make the pi bonds work out, the hydrogens are not in the plane of the screen, but there's one in front, one in back. So if you were the observer over here and you were looking down this carbon like that, you would see if this was the position of the carbon, then you would have a hydrogen to the left and a hydrogen to the right. And the carbon in the back, this is the front carbon, this little dot here, the carbon in the back now has a hydrogen going up and a hydrogen going down. This is called a Newman projection. And when you get into organic chemistry, if you do, you'll have a step up, a leg up on people who didn't have this in their freshman chemistry course. The reason I know this is because when I was a student, I took organic chemistry from this guy, Melvin Newman. He's long passed, but I always thought it was cool because he came to school in a Corvette. And he looked a lot like Groucho Marx. I don't expect many of you know Groucho Marx, but Melvin Newman invented the Newman projection, which lets you convey 3 dimensions in 2.